to your website from Instagram? Are you feeling like maybe your caption prompts to the tap my link in bio maybe are a little uninspiring lately? Would you love to be able to turn your Instagram into a valuable conversion tool? Hey, I know I would. So, if that's something that you're interested in, well, today we're going to be talking about 5 clever ways to drive traffic from Instagram. Hello, folks. I'm Jeff C. from Manly Pinterest Tips, and I'm here with Kristen Dahlin and Rebecca Radice of Tailwind, actually on the same camera in Tailwind headquarters in Oklahoma. As always, we're so glad that you guys are here with us. Would you do us a favor and kind of light up the love right there below it? It helps us out quite a bit. And as always, please ask your questions and give us your comments during the show. So we're going to try to pull up as many of those as we can and answer those during the show today. And we're continuing to do our Selfie Light giveaway. Only here at Tailwind can you get this awesome Selfie Light. If we're going along the show today and you hear something that's just amazing, do hashtag Tailwind Tips and you'll be entered into the drawing. So do Tailwind Tips and then add the little snippet of nugget of information that you heard us say, and you'll be entered to win this free Selfie Light. So, ladies, a lot to talk about today. I mean, we all want to use Instagram as a tool where we can drive some traffic, but that's kind of hard with Instagram. So I'm really excited to hear what you guys have to say today.
Well, we are equally as excited to be here and be here right next to each other. And now I'm feeling bad. I just raced back and had Mexican food. So poor Kristen, I won't breathe that direction.
Oh, a little salsa breath. Yeah. I'm glad we're doing this virtually because I'm hungry. So
that's right.
Yeah. Very cool. So we're talking about 5 clever ways to drive traffic from Instagram. So, and I think it's going to be interesting today to talk about because everybody says to drive traffic, well, you've got to get 10,000 to get that swipe up, which is great. And it's a great thing to have, and it's something to aspire to. But a lot of us, myself included, don't have that 10,000 followers yet. And so this is going to be really interesting to see how we can get some other tips maybe to use Instagram to drive some traffic.
You got it. We're ready.
Okay.
Ready.
So what's tip number 1?
So you actually kind of touched on this just a minute ago as far as driving traffic from your stories, right? So we talked about this a little bit on our last show, but whenever you have 10,000 followers, you can get that link in stories, and people can swipe right up from your stories and go to whatever website or blog or wherever it is you're trying to send them. And so that's kind of the holy grail of 10,000 followers, and everyone's really excited about getting that, so they get that link in stories. But as we mentioned last time, if you don't have it yet, it's not the end of the world. Last time we mentioned that you can actually just tag your profile in your Instagram story and then direct your followers to click on that sticker, tap that sticker with your profile tag, and then they can go right through to your link in bio or to your profile and wherever you're sending them. So that's a little workaround. If you don't quite have that link in stories feature yet, you can still just link your own profile and send them right through. And then you can also use your stories to point your followers in other directions. We also talked about that last time, where you can direct your followers to go to your feed if you want to promote something on your feed, or you can use your caption in your feed to direct them to your stories to build on a little bit more or complement whatever it is you're featuring in your feed. So whenever you're driving traffic, you're not limited if you want to use that link in stories feature and just don't have it yet. There's a lot of different ways that you can use stories that doesn't involve that link in stories feature to either direct them to your profile, to your feed, or vice versa.
Cool. So what I'm hearing you say is like using stories and your feed to kind of mix and match some things to actually use that to drive some traffic. Rebecca, do you have any tips for like using, stories to, let's say that, we've talked about if you have the over 10,000 followers, you can do the swipe up, but do you have any like hacks or tips, for us peasants who still don't have the 10K followers?
I don't know that I'd call you a peasant, but yeah. And I love the way Kristen put that, because it is about creating that momentum by tag teaming between your feed and your stories. So think about what type of content are you sharing over on your feed, and how can stories amplify or promote that? So for example, for Tailwind, let's say we just recently had a blog post that was 5 clever ways to drive traffic from Instagram. Imagine that, right? And we could create a variety of different stories around that, where it could be a series, maybe 5 different parts with tips from each of those 5 different ways. And one of them is we're saying, go check it out. So we can verbally give that call to action. Kristen gave a couple of different ways that you could do that. You can use shout outs. So use all of the features too. Use stickers, so many different clever and different ways that you can use exactly the tools that Instagram has given you to create that desire also within your followers to want to click through, to want to get interactive with you. Use polls, ask questions. So don't be afraid to use all that is available to you, even if you don't have that swipe up feature, because what your followers are looking for is to get to know you and then get to know you even deeper or better within your stories. So when you do tag team in that way, it does take them, kind of move them off of your feed into your story, into a more interactive or personal space.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think those are great tips. I wanted to pull up some of our comments that we've had so far. Of course, Sally Howe is here. She's a faithful watcher and follower. Thanks, Sally, for coming. She goes, hi there, looking forward to learning some more great things tonight. It's tonight because I know she's in the UK. So thanks for watching in your evening. We appreciate that, Sally. And Arnie says this. Amy says this. 10,000 followers feels impossible. I feel ya. So I'm glad that we're getting some, and there's a big reveal at the end. So stick around because we're going to give you some great tips. But there's a secret thing we're going to share with you at the end that I think is going to make it really exciting for people who are like me who don't have the swipe up. So this is going to stick around. So, and then Brenda goes, she's just trying to get to 1,000. So hey, I think a lot of people feel that way. And then Stacy, our first Tailwind tips comment says, use your stories to get to enhance your feed posts with a call to action, stickers, shout outs, etc. Those were great tips by our lovely, super smart ladies over at Tailwind. So, okay, what's tip number 2? We're trying to drive some traffic from Instagram. We've done this first one, how to use some stories to drive some traffic. What is the second way people can use Instagram to drive some traffic?
So I think for this one, it's a little bit back to the basics of your strategy, right? It's focusing and spending time on your creative elements. And so that's the photos that you choose. That's maybe playing with video a little bit, especially if you're featuring a product. You don't want to just casually snap a picture of your product as a standalone image, maybe like on a tabletop, in a way that's not visually interesting. Maybe you really want to hook attention in your feed and in your stories so that you create enough curiosity with your users or wanting to know more that they want to click somewhere, whether it's your link in bio or a link in stories, to find out more about that product. And so to do that, you really want to entice them with the way that you're staging your photos and really thinking about what it's all going to look like, maybe playing with video. And that doesn't always have to be a video of yourself or a video of your product. You can always make like a short animated video or something like that. We recently did a little video in our feed that was just a couple of different slides with an animated text going across about stories. It was super simple to make, and it caught a lot of attention just because it was moving, and it stopped people mid scroll, and they were like, oh, I want to know more about this. And of course we had the CTA, right? We had our go tap our link in bio for more information on this. And it was about our stories challenge. And we got a ton of likes on that post, and then click through and people wanting to go and get involved with that Story Starters Challenge, which, by the way, if you haven't heard anything about it, we are running a 4-week challenge for Instagram stories where we send you 20 prompts and then you repost your version of it. And if you tag us, then you are entered to win a free year of Tailwind. And so that's going on now. Even though the contest has already started, that doesn't mean you can't get involved anytime that you want. Anytime before the 4 weeks is up, if you download those 20 prompts, you can just go ahead and jump in at any point and then keep earning entries into that grand prize drawing anytime that you can join us. And so there's actually a link available on our Instagram in our link in bio if you happen to be near your phone, or if you can tap on that. Unfortunately, I didn't grab the link for that today, but I'll also drop it in the comments afterwards, so that you guys can jump in on that if you're interested. But anyway, yeah, so that's kind of that eye-catching video element. But overall, you just want to make sure that the images that you use for your product or your service or whatever it is that you are promoting or that you're wanting to drive traffic with, that it fits into the overall story that you're trying to tell with your product. And so everything should tie into that, right? The way that you present your visuals and the way that you think about them should be part of that storytelling process that is going to move your followers or your viewers onto that next step of actually going to your website.
Very cool. So we actually, we're talking about spending time on creative elements to help drive traffic. And so a couple weeks ago, we did an entire show about tools that can help with some of that. So if you want to watch, if you missed that one and you're like, oh, how do I create some of these elements? We did a whole show on some tools that you can use to create those elements. But Rebecca, I want to ask you really quick. We won't dive in too deep about it, but what is your go-to tool to help you do creative elements when you're putting stuff together for Instagram?
Ooh, I have several, and I think Kristen and I both echoed Lightroom is one of our absolute favorites. And it really is because of the simplicity, but also the consistency and VSCO, VSCO, where you can create your own filters and then just easily mimic those on all of your images. So if you're out there and you're looking at some of your favorite people to follow, some of your favorite influencers, and you're like, why do all of their images look exactly the same? Well, it's because they're using a tool like this, where with the click of a button, it is that simple. You can create the same look and feel on every single one of your images. Now, there are different filters for different situations, and we talked about this in that tools Facebook Live that we did as well, where depending on if you're a lifestyle photographer, you're a blogger, or you're e-commerce, and you're taking pictures outside or indoors mainly, or flat lays, there are different filters for every situation. So if it's bright whites, or you want a hint of blue because you're out by the ocean and you just love kind of that look and feel of nature, or green, there is a different filter for every situation, for any industry, and it's just finding yours, finding that perfect glow. and I say glow because Kristen's is definitely glowy. It's just beautiful, and it does give that nice sparkly hue to everything that you do. So either two of those are my two go-tos for creating consistency on your feed. I will say, I don't know about you, but I don't use filters in my stories, only on my feed. I'm not really looking for that aesthetic necessarily. For me, stories are a lot more in the moment. For example, I flew in to spend time with the team, and we went out to eat yesterday, and we were taking a whole bunch of pictures.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
As my photo feed reveals today. But when you're trying to just put some quick fun, in the moment type of stories out there, I don't think you need to go to those extremes. So it's really just finding what is going to work best for you in terms of your feed.
That's awesome. Yeah, when an Instagram company starts using Instagram at parties, you watch out, because it's going to get crazy. So I want to bring up.
I showed you.
Oh, yeah, I don't even want to. Yeah, what stays in Oklahoma City, what happens in Oklahoma stays in Oklahoma City. So I want to bring up.
I was going to tell you, Jeff, real quick. So on top of being an Instagram company, I also just got the iPhone 11.
Oh yeah, I did too.
That was the highlight of the party. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That camera though.
It's amazing. It's amazing. This wide angle, I love it. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. So, I do want to bring up some comments really quick by Kristen has this great point. She goes, I love seeing videos. I do make buying choices off of them. It's really helpful to hear people or see their products moving, and that's a tailwind tip that she put up there. And also she said there are some different apps that allow you to add words. We were talking about apps earlier. Phone apps like InShot are great. That's a great app. On your desktop, you can use OpenShot. Both are free. Thanks for that, Kristen. We appreciate that comment. And also from Charlotte, she says, the challenge is fun. I'm really seeing results and lots of engagement. So if you still want to join the challenge that Kristen mentioned earlier, we will drop that link in there. How many days are left, Kristen?
Let's see. We're on day 4 of week 1. So we have 3 weeks left.
You never are supposed to do math on live video, but I
know.
I threw that on you. I'm sorry. Yeah. So anyway, so we've been talking about the 5 ways to drive traffic using Instagram. So we talked, first of all, driving traffic from your stories. We just talked about spending time on your creative elements. And number 3 is searching for opportunities to network and expand your reach. What do you mean by that? I mean, how can you, other than direct messages, how do you network on Instagram? I'd love to hear your tips on this.
Do you want to jump off, or I can go ahead?
You go right ahead.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So I feel like I'm just jumping right in. So on networking with Instagram, especially whenever you're trying to drive traffic, people tend to really just focus on themselves, on their feed, on what they can do, on what they can say, their CTAs. And sometimes we forget that there's an opportunity to really build partnerships and collaborations and reach out to people in our niches and in our industries. Chloe was on last week, and she is a pro at this, and she actually has an entire strategy for searching different hashtags that kind of relate to Write Her Style blog, and commenting and interacting with people in comments. She dedicates a period of time whenever she's on Instagram every day to engaging with new people, with new accounts, and kind of building those connections and branching out. She's gotten a ton of followers that way. And it's not only just about follower acquisition, right? She's making connections with other influencers, with other bloggers, different brands, and collaborations and partnerships are coming out of that. And so whenever you really start thinking about your place in an industry or in a niche and looking into building partnerships or just forging those connections, you can easily create some kind of collaboration that benefits both of you, that both your sets of followers and that your audiences are going to love, and they're going to want to see what you have to say, what you have on your website, all of that. And, vice versa, your followers may be really interested in that company. And so it's really beneficial to just make sure that you're reaching out, that you're building a community, and you're always bringing people into the fold who can possibly benefit in some way, driving your traffic, driving theirs. And so really, I think there's a saying, and why can't I think of it? Collaboration over competition. Is that it?
Yeah, that
sounds good. Yeah,
that sounds good. It is now. That's what it is now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's kind of something to think about, is that don't always think of yourself as alone, or that it's it's only your goal, right, to drive website traffic for yourself. You have friends and allies all over the place who can help you do that in a roundabout way that isn't a direct, they're going to see the CTA, they're going to click here and off they go. Mm-hmm. There's lots of ways around it. And so if you want practical tips on kind of making those inroads, like I said, searching through hashtags maybe that can help you find more followers or more accounts that are relevant to your audience, and engaging in the comments there, maybe even resharing content to your stories and kind of adding, your commentary. I think that was a great tip from Chloe last week as well, is offering your little commentary, like, I really liked this, or this stood out to me, or you guys might really like this account, and just kind of starting the conversation that way. And then, of course, using hashtags, experimenting constantly with the hashtags that you use to find ones that push you out into search streams where you just get more views, more traffic, more interactions with audiences who might be interested in what you have to say. And of course, Tailwind has a great tool for that.
The hashtag I was going to ask about that. Yeah.
And then also working on targeting top stories, top posts in hashtags and in locations. Those are the ones where if you search, for a certain hashtag or a certain location, then you can click on the stories highlight, and it's all the stories from the last 24 hours or some of the most relevant ones of people who have been in that location, tag themselves there, or in the feed the same way. They've tagged themselves at those locations, or they've used that hashtag, and so they show up at the top post feed. And one of my posts recently actually made it into one. It was something silly about Oklahoma, but I got a ton of views and a ton of traffic just from that. And it was just a one-off post. I mean, it was like, look at my outfit today. It's super cute. It wasn't anything groundbreaking.
Yeah, I do those types of posts all the time. I want to talk about that a little bit, because I know Rebecca does that with, and Peg Fitzpatrick does this really well, is using the hashtag tool and using that feature to find and try to get in some of those top posts, or those ones that are being really in the Explore page. Rebecca, can you give some of your tips on that?
Yeah, we've definitely talked about this in the past, haven't we? Where you're exploring those top hashtags, and using a hashtag finder within Tailwind is super beneficial, because what you can see is how competitive each of those hashtags are. So by nature, or by default, I think we would automatically think, oh, wow, Kristen, this hashtag has 2 million people or 10 million people posting into it. And the problem with that could be that you're going to get lost. You're going to get lost among all of that content. So it's really whittling that down to your most important hashtags. And I think your point about Oklahoma is excellent, because you got hyper specific into who is that audience that's going to be interested. Was it location based? Yes. Was it maybe specific to an outfit that you wore to maybe an event? I don't think it was, but it could be, so that you are
I look cute today. Hashtag outfit of the day.
There you go. So it's just getting as specific as you possibly can, and getting inside the head of your audience. So as they're looking for your content, outfit of the day, I'm in Oklahoma. More than that, I'm in Oklahoma City. More than that, what neighborhood am I in? More than that, am I in maybe a specific restaurant or location? So just getting it down into more the nitty gritty of hashtags is what's really going to help you land within that hashtag hub, which is what we were talking about. And that's where, if you are hyper specific, you're tapping into and getting in front of your exact right audience. And this is why we talk so much about not just randomly using hashtags that have no bearing, they have no relevance on your post, because yeah, sure, you may gain some new followers, you may gain some views, but you're going to lose those just as quickly as you got them, because they're not going to be interested in the rest of your content. And so obviously, as we're all building businesses, as we're looking to find those followers that are interested in our offer or our course or our coaching program or whatever it is that we have to offer, and we want them to click through on within Instagram, it's just really important that as you do that hashtag research, that you aren't just looking for the biggest, because the biggest hashtag doesn't necessarily make it the best.
Very cool. So I want to bring up some more comments, because I thought this was this was a good question, because somebody asked, hey Jeff, where's the recorded show related to tools? You can find it actually if you scroll on the Facebook page, it's there, but also our entire channel over on YouTube has all these shows that you can watch at your leisure anytime you want. We also have a podcast, so if you're out and about and you can't actually watch a show, you can find us on the podcast for Marketing Unleashed. It's on Spotify, Stitcher, all the major podcast networks. So feel free to watch any of these shows or consume that content any way you'd like using those channels. The other question I thought was a great one, because we're talking about driving traffic. It's like, this is from Sarah. She goes, do you recommend joining up for an Instagram giveaway to get followers?
So throwing a giveaway?
Well, it says, do you recommend joining up for an Instagram giveaway to get followers? I would think it would be to put one on. Like, that's what I would think. Like, create your own giveaway. Like, say, you use a certain hashtag. I know a lot of people do. But I think it goes back to your point, Rebecca, where if it's just people going to grab a free giveaway or a free, if you're giving away an iPad or whatever, you're going to get a lot of people on that fall to, join that contest, but then they may not be interested in the rest of the stuff and they'll leave. Would you agree with that assessment?
Well, you see that. Yeah, you see that with any giveaway or sweepstakes, right? Mm-hmm. There's just those people that they jump on every single giveaway or sweepstakes that's out there. And so, yeah, again, it goes back to the point of if you're going to give something away, it needs to make sense, not only to your business, but to your overall goals. So where are you leading them? And then what's the next step? So let's say you've got a giveaway and you're giving away a year free into maybe your tool or your application or your coaching program. And within that, there is an additional offer. So you're always trying to think about what is that next step that they can take. And also, as these people are signing up for your sweepstakes, how are you going to nurture that relationship? And if you're trying to give away something that's not relevant to your business, you're going to nurture a very, very, very cold lead, somebody that is only interested in winning that sweepstakes and never, ever, ever wants to hire you or take that next step with your business. So be very careful that you don't get caught up in that trap of, I just want to give something away because it sounds really cool and I'm going to get a whole lot of new followers.
Right.
And yeah, it happens.
Yeah. I do want to, since we've been talking a lot about the hashtag finder from Tailwind earlier, and I wanted to pull up this comment from Sarah. She goes, definitely use the hashtag tool on Tailwind. It's helped me use much better hashtags and more people are finding my account. That's a Tailwind tick. So thank you, Sarah. We love hearing stories like that because, of course, we love the tool, but it is very cool. I love it. I use it all the time. So thank you for letting us know about that. So we've been talking about how to drive traffic with Instagram. We've got 5 tips. The first one was driving traffic from your stories. We talked about spending time using creative elements to help drive traffic that way. We just talked about searching for opportunities to network and expanding your reach. So now we're talking about number 4, telling a story that they can't resist. So everybody thinks they can tell a story that you can't resist, but what really, give us the down low of what really makes a great story, because we want to know so bad.
Yeah, so with telling a story that they can't resist, I think there's one really important step to this, and I think whenever we do post on our feed or we write a caption, we treat it as an afterthought. We're very worried about the image or what it's going to look like with the rest of our feed. And then the last step is like, okay, I'm going to write my caption, whatever, add a CTA at the bottom and send it off and we're good. And I think if you start with your caption and you really make the effort to tell a story and to connect with your audience and with your reader, that is an amazing way to build that trust or that interest, instantaneously. And so whenever you drop in that CTA at the bottom of your caption, like tap my link in bio for more, it doesn't have to feel salesy. And a lot of people shy away from that. And I think that was a point that you brought up yesterday when we were talking about it, is people are very afraid to sound too salesy or to, try to get people to move in this direction to their link in bio or to do something for them. They tend to soft shoe around it a little bit. But you can really work in that CTA and grab that interest and that connection that you need for people to really want to do that without much prompting, just by telling a really good story. And I was trying to think of an example of this. It's just such a funny conversation, but I was trying to think of an example of this yesterday, like how to best articulate this. And I had been telling Rebecca that I have a very young baby at home and a husband. And so there's like a sweet spot whenever I can get out of the house, either before they wake up or like after they wake up. And usually I'm late for things.
Right.
And we were going to meet Rebecca for breakfast. And so I was literally army crawling on the ground in my bedroom in the dark because my baby had woken up in the middle of the night and needed to be soothed. So my husband brought her into our room. So she was in our room while I was trying to get dressed.
Right.
And I was making a spectacle of myself, just trying to get out of the house. Like, how much do I need pants, really? I mean, I need pants, but
yes, that's very important.
And so, I'm trying not to wake her up, and I'm really doing a bad job of it because I am tripping over her toys in the hallway, making a racket, trying to get out of the house, just like desperate not to wake her up. And I was just telling that story as an afterthought. And I was like, how can you really, say something relatable? And Rebecca's like, that was like the most relatable story you've told in 2019.
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, if you can't tell, Kristen tells really good stories.
Yeah. She does.
And I was like, oh, okay. She's like, why don't you use that as your example? Like, I would immediately buy into that in a feed post or in a caption, like, have you ever done this? And I was like, yeah, that's a good point. I'm sure people would relate. She's like, it's like you're practically tripping over these opportunities for creative moments. And I was like, I see.
Yeah. The marketer in her just couldn't help it. Yeah.
More of that clever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, that's a great point, Rebecca. It's just like, creativity is following you around like a little toddler all the time.
Oh my gosh.
I just kept going. I couldn't help myself.
Forever.
But that makes a good point that yes, there's opportunities in life if we keep our eyes open on these stories. Like, it would have been even funnier if you would have had it like your phone with you as you're army crawling, doing a story. I gotta be quiet because you're, the kind of the Blair Witch look, like, oh my gosh, she might wake up, that kind of a thing. So it's because I've been there. I mean, it's scarier than the Blair Witch. So when you're trying to get your baby asleep. So those are good points, and I think the whole thing is being relatable. Telling a story, and then using that to hook them in. Because when you mention baby, that's a hook right there for most people watching the show. They're like, oh, a baby story, and so. Because a lot of people can relate with that. So that's a great point. So, Rebecca, I hear you have a bullet journal idea on how telling a story. I'm really interested in what that is. I know bullet journaling is all the rage. So I don't understand how you're going to use that in your story. So let us know.
Well, it's very simple, and it goes along with the conversation that Kristen and I were having of what makes Instagram so difficult is that we feel like we have to sit down and come up with the best post we've ever written every single time. And it can feel overwhelming, that entire creative process from beginning to end, from the moment that I snap a picture and I want to post that to I got to figure out the description. What am I going to write about? How am I going to tell a relatable story? So the idea behind the bullet journal is every moment, a moment when you're army crawling may not be funny at that moment,
right?
But capturing it in some type of a journal where you can go back and reflect on that. It takes a lot of the anxiety around posting on Instagram out of the way, really. I joke with my husband all the time that just our texts back and forth could be posts on Instagram. So you just need to look where those moments are happening within your life and have somewhere your notepad with your note, your app within your phone, whatever is the easiest way, have a place to capture those moments so that as you are, maybe you're batching, maybe you do a week's worth of Instagram posts at a time. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to remember army crawling a week later because too many other things have transpired.
For sure.
Yeah. In between then. So it's just grabbing onto even just little snippets of that moment so you can remember, or you can say, this happened in a conversation, refer back to. I'll do that a lot for myself, where we use Slack a lot, or maybe a Google Doc. So give yourself little prompts as well, how to quickly and easily source that information so that when you do finally sit down to put these posts together, it doesn't feel like, oh man, I'm starting from scratch.
I feel like too, whenever I'm writing posts or captions, I get like, even whenever I know a lot of stuff has happened, there's a lot of different ways I could relate, jokes I could tell, whatever, however it is I want to do it. I almost get analysis paralysis, right? Because I'm like, what on earth am I going to say? Which one is best? Or like, everything will fly out of my mind sometimes. So I'm like, I can't think of a single funny thing that's like happened. Right. And so if you have that like rainy day store, which I'm a big fan of rainy day stores of all kinds of stuff because I'm somewhat lazy, that's really useful to go back to and just be like, I can use this, boom, done, and just plow through a content plan if you're batching.
And one last point on this, Jeff, the thing I think this tears away at too is the idea that you have to post right this second what's happening right this second.
Great point.
And I think there was a strong belief around that when we all first started on Instagram, but that's not the case anymore. Now, for the most part, we're using our feed as a running story around our business. It's just the extended outlook of our business. So don't think about, I'm at the beach, standing on the beach right now, so I have to post about this right now. No, you don't. Right. Give yourself a pass, give yourself a break, and start to plan ahead by just capturing these moments in one location, and then being able to sit down with the freedom of a little bit more time to figure out how do those roll up into your overall goals? How do those roll up into your strategy? I think that takes a lot of pressure off too.
Yes,
where you don't feel like, I got to be in the moment right now, and I got to post right now.
Right. Thereby taking yourself out of the moment.
Right, exactly.
Right. Excuse me while I get my Instagram. Yeah. So and one of the, in my presentations that I do, one of my points is I talk about collecting consistently. And that's what you guys were talking about. I use Evernote to capture all sorts of information. And to be honest, I actually have in my shower, I have those kids' crayons, and I just rock, because I get ideas in the shower and I'm like, I don't have my phone, I can't write. So I have these things that my shower has all these notes. I look like something with, a crazy person. What is it? What is that movie?
No, it's
great. So always be collecting. So we've been talking about the 5 ways to drive traffic with Instagram. We've talked about driving traffic from your stories. Spending time with creative elements was number 2. Number 3 was searching for opportunities to network and expand your reach. Number 4 was tell a story they can't resist. And now we're going to be talking about our favorite one, which has a secret reveal at the end, optimizing your link in the bio. Now, this is really cool, especially for us who don't maybe have the 10,000 swipe up feature, but we tell people to go to our link in the bio, which is great, but there can be some problems with that. So tell us the solution.
So I'll actually kick this off before we get into the nitty gritty of the link in bio. I have found it's really useful. So I just want to call this out. You should never assume that all of your followers or all of the people viewing your posts are Instagram experts, and that they know exactly what your link in bio is or where to find it, which is, it's kind of an afterthought. We know what it is. We have one. We, just send people there. It's fine. Some people really don't know exactly what that means, or they need it spelled out for them. So one way I found to really help with that is in your actual bio, have some kind of visual pointing down to your link in bio. It seems really obvious, but you would be surprised how much it clarifies the process for people. Is if you have even just a little arrow emoji, it's down there. And right above the link in bio, in that last line of your actual Instagram bio, just say, tap the link below to see X, Y, and Z. And you kind of want to also spell out here and make sure that your Instagram bio is clear here in kind of giving them a glimpse of overall what kind of content, what they can expect if they actually click that link in bio. Whatever it is, maybe that you're featuring, whatever your product is, if you're a blogger, whatever it is you like to write about, what your topics are, so you want to combat any possible negative, association or whatever, right off the bat. If they click on your link in bio and they think you stand for X, Y, and Z, or your content is X, Y, and Z, and then they open it and your content is actually a little different. So that is one great way to ensure that they never visit your site again. So you want to head that off at the get-go. That should be your strategy in your bio, is to just spell it out for them. This is where you go. This is what you will find, and have at it. Just get in there.
Gotcha.
So I just wanted to head that off, but I think you should probably talk about actually optimizing link in bio and what that can do for you.
Yeah. So as we all know, we get one shot at this, right, Jeff? We have one link that Instagram gives us, and that is, as Kristen was just talking about, within our bio. And the problem with that is either we use it just for our domain, so for our website, we're sending people to our homepage, which not necessarily the best place to capture that lead or to really direct them towards something that, as we've been talking about, is super relevant to their business. So what we end up doing is we're creating a post, and maybe you're a blogger, or you've just created a new course or a new challenge like Kristen was talking about earlier with our stories challenge. And every single time you post something new, you have to do what? You have to go back, you have to manually update that link within your bio, and it's a little cumbersome. Right. Also, if you are using a tool like Tailwind, well, it requires that, hey, you've got all your content scheduled in advance, but boo-hoo, I have to remind myself to go change out that link.
Can I be so honest about this for a second? We, with our link in bio tool that we've previously used, you'd have to go and like schedule a time for the link that was in the post to go live. And I was awful about that. Like it's a whole different workflow. You have to remember all these things. It's terrible. So just wanted to rant about that.
And I want to point out too, if you just drop in like a regular link from your blog website, if you don't use a tool like a shortener or something, you can't track it. It shows up in like in your Google Analytics, and you can't see if people are actually clicking on your bio. So that's a big issue for me when you're trying to see if people are actually using the link in bio. You need to have some way to track it.
That is another great point, and part of the downside, right, of Instagram, that they just don't give us a whole lot of opportunities to not only swap out that link, but track what's really going on with that link. And to Kristen's point, it takes a whole lot of diligence. Yeah.
The worst.
And we have enough to remember, right? We're running businesses. We've got stuff going on.
So we're having to get out of our houses like at night with the kids trying to wake them up.
Dragging ourselves across the floor.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one more thing. That's a whole new visual of Kristen army crawling while she's trying to swap out the link in our bio.
That's a great video.
Yeah, it's a whole new level of exhaustion. So, big reveal. Are we ready, Jeff?
Yeah, we're ready. Here we go. Boom. There it is. So what are we looking at? What is this?
So what we are looking at here is a new tool that Tailwind is just getting ready to launch. It is called Smart.bio, and we've already talked about the illustrious Chloe, who was on last week, and we're using Chloe here as our example. And here's the beauty in what this tool is. So Smart.bio is a tool that's going to pull in all of your posts from Instagram and allow you to assign a link, a URL, so a destination, wherever that might be, your course, your blog, whatever you're wanting to direct people to, you can assign that URL to every single post. So this becomes your very own landing page that you can take, and you can take that URL and you can add that right into that bio that we were talking about. And here's what ends up happening. Instead of ever having to update that link again, every single time you post to Instagram, that post is added to your landing page. So whenever somebody clicks on that link in your bio, every single one of your posts is going to show up. And as they click that, every single one of those has a different link that you have assigned to that. So no more static links, no more situations of having to remind yourself, to notify yourself, to, oh, by the way, you've got to change out that link in your bio. And as you see here, what we're showing you is it's fully customizable. And this is the other really cool aspect that we heard back from so many of our members about, which is you are running your business and your business is branded. You have color coordination. You have that feed that you are really trying to create, that streamlined look and feel. And you can fully customize the colors. And no, unlike some of the tools that are out there, we don't let you choose from a small color palette. You can choose your own hex colors. So whatever your actual color is, and Chloe is using the example of her color here, you can swap that out. And the other thing that you are gonna love about this, and I know I do because I'm super visual, you see right up there at the top, you do have those calls to action. You have those links like some you might be using now, you see, but you also have the visual aspect below where you can actually see your Instagram post with that call to action down below. So you have two very unique ways to drive that traffic to your business, to your landing pages. And so you've got those right up top there where those are your most important pieces of content. Those are how people can work with you every single day. Those are maybe some downloads, some freebies that you want to offer. And then below that is a glimpse into every single one of your posts. So I can think about lifestyle bloggers that use Like to Know It all the time. This could be a great way, and that's exactly how Chloe uses it, because you can see all of her super adorable outfits. She is always showing off another ensemble that you can purchase, one of those pieces. And so there's just so many different ways that you can use this. But I think what excites me, there's so many aspects that excite me. But as somebody, Jeff, visual marketing is near and dear to both of our hearts.
Right.
The ability to be able to really brand this to your business, I think is incredibly important. And then also to have the visual aspect. So you don't just have those static, boring links. And you don't just have static links that you have to go in, and this was Kristen's point, you have to go in and let's say you're checking your Google Analytics, you're taking a look at what your top performing pieces are here. You have to go back in, you have to go in and you have to swap out those links. Well, here's one more piece of Smart Bio, which is all of your analytics are right there.
It's amazing.
Within your dashboard. So you can see who's clicked, who's viewed, who's engaging with those links and within your content. And yes, Smart Bio is a free tool. It is free to use. It is free to sign up, but it's also fully integrated within Tailwind. And the beauty within that is that as you are scheduling your posts right within Tailwind, you can add those URLs right to your posts. So there's no need to ever come back. There's no need to ever think about it again. You don't have to set a notification as you drop that into your queue, and that goes out at your best times to post. It's done. Boom. It's all right there on your landing page.
Yeah, and we've got some great comments here. I want to pull this one up. This is from Danielle, and she goes, "Shut the front door." Amazing. See, I had a little sneak peek that this was coming, and I was bugging the snot out of these people in Slack going, "Hey, I need access. Give me access to this tool." I was pretty annoying because I didn't have it. So yeah, it's very, very cool. So if you want to find out more about it, you can go to bit.ly/smartbio. That's all lowercase. So it's bit.ly/smartbio. So did I hear you right? Did you say it was free, but it also integrates with Tailwind? Well, that's amazing.
That is correct. It is 100% forever free. So yes, as I said, all of the customization, everything we just showed you here, everything that is available within this is free to you to use. And for those of you that are watching that are using a link in bio tool right now, all of this customization you're paying for elsewhere.
Right.
You are paying to get the branded colors. You're paying to get the customized CTA. You're paying to get the analytics. And more than that, you're paying to get scheduling. So all of that, you get it right there with Smart Bio, and then you get hand in hand with Tailwind. So it's like a beautiful pair, a beautiful match, right?
Yeah, we've got Jennifer goes, so excited. And then Sarah says, this will be amazing. No more missing traffic because I scheduled my post and forgot the links.
It is the worst. I am with you.
And here's some good questions. So Shayna says this. She goes, love this. Question: what if you post something manually? Can you go back and later add a link via Tailwind?
Yes, you can. So yes, and Kristen was playing around with ours. So if you actually want to see this in the wild, you can go to Instagram.com/Tailwind app. And you can take a look at the link on our bio and you can see exactly what it looks like. But yes, you can, if you've got a full feed worth of posts that you would like to go in and add those URLs to, you betcha, you can do it.
Yeah, a lot of people are excited. Linda says this is amazing. Now, do you access this via is it all on desktop or is it available on the mobile app or is it just
It is mobile friendly.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, we had some questions about that.
I'd also really like to call out something too that I was in conversation with somebody yesterday kind of about Smart Bio, and you know, we may not always be like, when we're creating content strategies and whatnot for Instagram, whenever we're creating these CTAs and trying to drive traffic, sometimes we don't give ourselves room to really get in the weeds and see what's working with our followers, right? As far as those CTAs, or if something, you know, may need to be adjusted. And that's actually something I really love about Smart Bio because, for example, right, these top static links, these buttons that, you know, you can link to like your evergreen content, which you may want to decide like this piece is always going to be relevant. It's always going to be timely and important to my followers. It's always going to be something that I want to direct them to, whether it's signing up for a newsletter like Chloe has on hers, or, you know, an offer like we were saying earlier. You can go in and change the title on that button, and you can change it again if you're not seeing the click-through rate, which will show up for you in the analytics of like how many people are visiting the page, how many are clicking through, and you know, you're wanting to drive a little bit more attention or give yourself room to play around with titling, maybe even on those buttons that might elicit a few more clicks. You have the ability to do that in Smart Bio, which I think is so important. And just the ability to just play with your approach a little bit and actually see and get in the weeds of what's working and what people are really wanting to click on. And quite a few of the other, you know, link in bio tools that I've seen or that I've experienced don't really give you all of that insight that you need to kind of play around and figure out what approach is working and further optimize your approach. And so I just wanted to call that out because I think that's also already been so important for us and for some of the people I've talked to who've been working with this.
Very cool. So a lot of people are asking, so I have Tailwind already. I love Tailwind. I'm using it. How do I add Smart Bio to my account? Is it by going to that link and just signing up?
Yep, that's it.
Cool. So if you missed that link, it's bit.ly/smartbio. That's bit.ly/smartbio. That's how you can get everything connected, and it's pretty simple. If I could figure it out, I mean, hey, they make it Jeff friendly over there at Tailwind. So yeah. So
that's actually why we let you inside early, just so we knew it was Jeff.
It's like if Jeff doesn't break it, it'll be okay. Yeah. So it's bit.ly/smartbio. That's all lowercase for everybody who's listening on the podcast. bit.ly/smartbio. It's very, very cool. I set it up like as soon as I got access that day. It's really easy to use, and it's right. You can change anything. It updates super fast. Now, since I don't have the 10K followers, I can say, hey, go to the link in my bio. They see all my stuff. They see my services. They see my most recent posts. I can do whatever I want with it. So it's very, very cool, and it is free if you go to that URL. So awesome. So very, very awesome.
Well, And you bring up another great point about having just a short URL that you can use anywhere. So we're talking about Instagram, and obviously this solves a huge problem over on Instagram as we only have that one link.
Mm-hmm.
But you could use this anywhere, because think about it, not everybody has a website. Not everybody has one hub where they want to send all of their traffic or all
Mm-hmm.
of their followers. So you could quite possibly pull everything together. Let's say you've got an Etsy shop and you've got several other things going on, and you want to consolidate all into one location. Smart Bio could be this for you. I even think about those with, say, a podcast, and we're
Right.
always trying to figure out the easiest way to add a call to action into our podcast. This could be that for you as well, and it's all fully branded to your business. And I think that's incredibly important in this day and age, as we're trying to get across really quick, really concisely where to drive people, and also trying to keep ourselves easily top of mind. So not some huge, long, drawn out URL as well. So there's a lot of different ways you could test this out and use it. But Instagram is certainly what that huge problem we're trying to solve. And not just being able to direct traffic, but understand that traffic and what's really going on with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's awesome. That's such a huge tool. It was so hard to wait to the end of our show to let you guys know about it, because I have been bugging like Kristen to death about this thing. I really like it. I think it's going to be a great tool for everybody. As always, thank you so much for your comments and for all your questions you guys brought up today. People are still asking, what is the URL to sign up for Smart Bio? That's bit.ly/smartbio, SMARTBIO, and you can sign up for it now. Some people are reporting that it may kind of be having a little trouble logging on. I'm sure that a lot of people are trying to get on all of it at once. So be patient. It should be there. It's going to be there all day, forever. So just don't worry about it. Keep trying back a little bit later.
All day,
and
forever.
All day, every day. It's the internet. And so if you're having some issues with that, let us know if you can't get on in 30 minutes or something. But I have a feeling a lot of people are hitting it right now. So, but it's very, very cool. We're very, very excited about it. Let us know how I loved Rebecca's idea about different ways to use it. I'm thinking maybe on Twitter, or in actually a messenger bot where people who are contacting your business, you could give them that URL and they could see all the content that you'd want them to. There's tons of different ways you could use this, not only for Instagram, but for other platforms as well. Ladies, thank you so much for all this valuable content. 5 ways to drive traffic with Instagram, with the big reveal of Smart Bio at the end. I will let you have the last word, Kristen, and then Rebecca. Why don't you send us out?
My goodness, I feel like I've spent this entire show talking, though, Jeff.
I wasn't going to say anything, but
Jeff.
Go ahead.
Why don't we have our special guest, Rebecca, who's actually here in Oklahoma City, have the final word on her. She's done so much work on Smart Bio, just working with product and working with the marketing team, and just waiting for this moment where we could finally reveal it. So I feel like this is a little bit of her baby, so I will let her send us off.
Yeah. Well, again, I think Instagram marketing is hard enough, right? It's hard enough to figure out all the moving pieces that we talk about on every single one of these lives together. And we hear from you every single day. I get the incredible opportunity to talk to our members on a daily basis about what you're struggling with. Where is the pain within your business? And so much of it is centered around Instagram traffic, Instagram analytics, and really understanding what kind of content your audience is looking for. And so our deep desire within Smart Bio and a Tailwind is that you are able to now start to unlock that within your business. You're able to see, where are those people clicking? Where are you able to drive traffic? What additional content would people love to see from you? And then making it super simple to do all of that as well, so that it doesn't feel like one additional heavy lifting piece within all of your Instagram marketing. So yeah, it's been a road, right, to get here, but I am so excited and can't wait to hear feedback. And like Jeff said, if you're having a little bit of trouble, I'm going to go check in on that right now. So we'll absolutely be 100% here and supporting you. And as always, our customer success team is phenomenal. So here to respond to any of your questions.
And thanks so much for watching, everybody. We really appreciate it. We love doing this show for you. This is the reason we show up every week at this time. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget about Smart Bio at bit.ly/smartbio. And with that, we will see you guys next time. See ya. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.